Hey everybody, my name is Sam Effa. I'm a two-time Canadian champion in the sprints. I was on the Amazing Race Canada. You can still catch some reruns. But most importantly, I'm an RBC Olympian and of course, the host for this exciting day. You can find me on social media at Sam_Effa. Now, skilled trades. When I think of skilled trades, they mean a lot to me and I've done my homework. I'm currently a master's student at the University of Queens, so I've explored how youth can take advantage of the many opportunities in skilled industries. So clearly, I'm pretty pumped to be facilitating today's diversity and skilled trades panel, sponsored, of course, by Toronto Hydro. So I'll be taking notes too. So we're going to spend 20 minutes, chatting with our diverse panelists of tradespeople, and after hearing about their journeys, we're going to open it up to questions. So get ready in that chat and have some questions ready to ask us. But before we even, jump into things, I think it's so incredibly important to do our land acknowledgement. I would like to begin by first acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we're on today. While we meet today on a virtual platform, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the land of which we call home in Canada. As we gather today on these lands, we are in solidarity with our Indigenous brothers, sisters, two-spirited peoples and family to honor their respect, the four lands and the four directions of the land. So we have lands, we have water, we have plants, we have animals, and we have ancestors that walked before us. And of course, all of the wonderful elements of creations that exist. As we reflect on the historical and ongoing relationship between Canada's education system and Indigenous peoples, we are highly aware of how much work there is to do to repair the relationship with Indigenous students, parents, families, and of course, communities. We recognize that the violation of many treaties by the government of Canada and the impacts of colonialism, including the legacy of the residential schools in the 60s scoop, have resulted in lasting harms, intergenerational trauma, and ongoing injustices to Indigenous people. We recognize that it is our responsibility as settlers on these traditional lands and as a learning organization working in and with the public education sector, we reaffirm our commitment to improve our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures and to take concrete actions as identified in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada's 2015 report. So from coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people who call this nation home. So let's just take a quick moment. Okay, now I am so incredibly thrilled to have a great panelist lineup here. We have Taylor Edgson, a power systems controller apprentice at Toronto Hydro. Unfortunately, we don't have Daniel Green, who is a sheet metal worker at Windmill Mechanic, or Tyra Moses, who is a Red Seal electrician. But we do have Lavanya Hariharan, who is a team lead at compression stations at Enbridge Gas. So welcome. Would everybody like to just say a quick hello? So Taylor, Lavanya, you want to just hop on and say hello? Feel free to unmute yourselves.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming today.
And Lavanya?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining the call today.
Awesome. So let's just jump right into this. The first question I'm going to ask goes to Taylor. So what does being an apprentice mean, and what path did you take to get there?
Yeah, so to me, being an apprentice means learning a trade or technical skill by receiving on-the-job training from an experienced worker in that field. Personally, I started down this path in high school by focusing on the math and science courses. They were, to be honest, my favorite courses in high school and what I was good at. I then, after graduating high school, I went and took the electrical engineering technology 3-year program at Georgian College in Barrie. And as part of that program, this included 3 4-month co-op terms. And these co-op terms allowed me to network, branch out, and as well gain valuable work experience and also discover the field in which I wanted to eventually end up in. And that led me to Toronto Hydro.
I love that. For those who don't know, an apprenticeship is a combination of on-the-job training and classroom learning that can lead to a credential or job. So just keep that in mind as we run through. Now I want to jump to Lavanya, I wanna know, what do you think are what in your opinion, actually I should approach this like this. In your opinion, what is the greatest obstacle for people getting into the skilled trades? What advice would you give to a student facing these obstacles? I personally want to know this one.
That's a great question, Sam. I'm very happy to address that one. I started here in our industry initially with my career in automotive. So then I landed myself now with English gas. It's more on like natural gas industry. So we are a fuel for people. But something which I would start here with is something like a fact. It's like if you see like 25% of Canada's 4 million tradespeople will need to upgrade their skills within 5 years. So if you see the question and the answer to that, it's like this upgrading of skills, knowing what you need always is very important. And the next thing is like awareness. Awareness of knowing what the skilled trade is all about is very, very critical to people to know, because it's a very interesting profile, I would say. It's like, I love my job. It's very passionate about what I do. So something that is more important is awareness, and that is one of the biggest obstacles too, because people don't know what the skilled trade is all about. The knowledge, you mentioned about apprenticeship programs, gaining that knowledge through apprenticeship programs, going through different courses and keeping ourselves updated with skills is a key thing, and that forms as an obstacle because people don't know where to go and where to land themselves on that. So being mentored will help them out on that piece. So I would say like the major obstacle is awareness and not knowing where to go and learn. And to add on to that, always diversity does come as a big play. So if you see like lots of women and different diverse cultures don't really get into the opportunity of skill trades. Knowing what it is all about does really help us out. So I would say like a few things are obstacles, but that can be surely changed as we go ahead.
I love those answers, because instantly when I think of apprenticeship, you did mention mentorship. It sometimes is who you know, and that's a reality that we have to look at. But there are things in place to help individuals get apprenticeships, and like you said, mentorship is so incredibly key. I'm a big fan of mentorship. But I want to jump back to Taylor. What tools or resources have been the most valuable in your career path? I mentioned I got a notebook. I'm taking notes too, so I want to hear this answer. Oh, Taylor, you're just gonna have to unmute yourself. You gotta love virtual meetings. That's
Sorry
okay.
about that.
We've all done it.
This is only my third one. Tools and resources. Oh gosh. To get where I am today.
Yeah, I would say what tools or resources have been the most valuable in your career path? Would this be, I mean, this could be anything from an individual, as Lavanya mentioned, mentoring you, or maybe it's a program, or maybe it's a career center. It could be a ton of different things.
Yeah, honestly, my co-op terms were the most valuable to me. Being able to, I completed 2 of them at Toronto Hydro, and one was an electrician. And like I said, these co-op terms, they allowed me to branch out, meet people within the company, see where I wanted to end up, what I didn't like, what I liked, and I liked where I sorry, I'm trying to get the words together here. I found out where I wanted to end up. Like I said, what I liked, what I didn't like, and being able to speak to the current employees at the time allowed me to work with them and find out the path I wanted to go and how to get there.
I love that. And I know you were finding the words, but I get what you're saying. When it comes to co-ops, it's getting yourself, it's almost like getting a foot in the door. So sometimes people think, okay, you get the diploma, you get the certification, and it just happens. Co-ops are tools that actually have you in the room, and I get this is what you were getting to, and then ultimately you're working with your employer, so it makes that transition a lot easier. I want to throw this one to Lavanya. Okay, so what, in your opinion, what excites you the most about the skilled trades? And just be completely honest, be open. I want to know.
It's just a job. It's like being on the site. It's like trying to be on the field with the people, and trying to be hands-on is the most exciting things I love. I like to be in my orange sometimes. It's not always the coats and dresses, but I love to be in my PP, having the hard hat on me and running the show there and making sure, like knowing from the valves to the electrical. That really interests me a lot. It's like that's maybe one of the reasons I went into that. My background is engineering, but still I love to be in the field and keep doing that all the time. And I'm taking care of two major compressor stations, and I have a bigger team, and it's like 24/7 operational and great leadership team, which helps me out in that. It's like, but I love that being there. It's like winter, cold, warm. It's like whatever it is, you're there, and people know that you'll be there for them when it's needed. And I'm very proud to say that I'm part of the organization, which really fuels everybody's home. Like as soon as it's slow, I'm like, yes, my organization is starting. It's like I'm running the show today. It's like running stuff across. I think that passion about things really helped me out to be in this field.
I love that, and you gave it, just like I said, you were completely honest about it, and I think everybody can take something from that. I want to ask another question, and I'm just gonna, this is to both of you, but maybe I'll jump to Taylor first. I'd like to ask about just self-directed learning. It's one of the 6 global competencies. Can you share how you took the lead on learning new skills to stay in your current roles or your future roles? So let's start with Taylor, and then we'll jump to Lavanya for this one.
Yeah, so in my role as a power system controller, I'm constantly learning new things. Every day is different. I don't know what I'm walking into the day of. You take it as it comes, honestly. And often I experience new situations on a daily basis, and I have to manage that as it comes. So it's very important to keep my skills current and do my best to stay up to date on my training, and have just honestly, I stay up to date by having simple conversations with my colleagues on a daily basis, and constantly asking questions and having these discussions, and even things as simple as reading training documents when I have spare time. Like this past September, I took it upon myself to reach out to a field crew. Like I work in the office, but I don't get to see what goes on in the field. So I reached out to a field crew because I was just curious to see what they see. So I was able to reach out to them, book some time, and go out and spend some time with them to learn new skills and broaden my knowledge as a controller. I speak to and work with these crews every day, but I like I said, I don't get to see what the equipment is that I'm working with them on, or how jobs are getting done. So getting out in the field allowed me to see these new things and see daily work at Toronto Hydro from the perspective of them, and grow in my role.
I like that. That's a great answer. I want to shift things to Lavanya. Same question. So, self-directed learning, one of the 6 global competencies. Share how you take the lead on learning new skills and to stay current in your roles or even the future roles that you're thinking about.
Yeah, I would say I would put it into 5 things across. That's how I do things. I mean, again, it's just my way of doing. Usually I go and identify, is there something which really I want to do? Number 1. Then if I really want to do that, then I just go and set my goals against that. It's like, this is what I'm going to do. This is the direction I'm going to run across. Then I go with my goals. Then I challenge myself to see, can I do it really? Is it really possible for me? And if I feel like, yes, I'm going to do it, you know what? Then I start doing it. No turning back. It's like, just keep going ahead. And at times I do monitor whether what I'm doing, am I reaching what I wanted to do? Am I going the same direction what I planned to? I think these are the few things I would really go on. The key to that, I would say, is you should love the job. I mean, you should like it. When you like it, it all goes automatic by itself. You don't have to wait for anything. This will just come one by one by one by one. So I think that is the key to it. It's like, I like it. Like I started my career in an automotive industry. Then I was with really signaling industry. Then I went to alarm security industry. Now I'm with the gas industry. So it's like I've gone through various industries, but everywhere I went, it's like I loved it. It's like I love the passion. I love learning there. Big learning curve. I think this all helped me out to where I'm today, and I'm sure this will help me out going in future too.
Oh, that's good. I love that. I love that. I mean, it's such a. I don't even know what more to say on that, but you definitely covered that piece. I do want to remind the audience who is watching, feel free to throw in some questions. We'll have an opportunity for Q&A, so don't be shy, ask whatever you feel. But one thing I wanted to ask personally, and this is going to go to the both of you, you know, we briefly talked about obstacles, but what other obstacles do you as what obstacles have you seen? Like, I know from the research that I've done just on the skilled trades is, you know, for instance, for younger groups who are trying to get into the skilled trades, there's a lack of awareness. So, you know, youth are introduced to the skilled trades way too late, and it becomes tough because also when you've invested in something, it's hard to kind of jump around. I've talked to Lavanya about this. Taylor, I'm curious, are there any obstacles that you can bring up that you've seen within the skilled trades that you'd love to tell these students?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
The schooling aspect of it as well. College wasn't easy. It's tough. But you have to work hard, and you'll get there. I see some comments coming in about the co-op terms. The co-op terms are definitely important. That was most beneficial, honestly, to me. And then from my perspective, being a female, it was tough as well. It's having people take you seriously in a male-dominated trade. That's tough as well, but you kind of have to ignore that and put it in the back of your mind and just stay focused.
And that's such a good answer, because sometimes we kind of gloss over some of these obstacles, but I think it's really important to bring those forward because, you know, in the industry, it is like you said, it is male dominated. So it's important to find those support pieces. Lavanya talked about mentorship, having people in your circle to support you. You know, it is hard work. Sometimes people jump into the trades thinking, okay, this will be a breeze. It's not that easy. These are some of the stigmas, but realistically, it is hard work. And like any job, you're going to have to work hard to get what you want out of it. So anyway, love that. Lavanya, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I would say like one of the biggest obstacles is like baby boomers. Lots of people are retiring. There's lots of skill sets that is on the heads of people who have experience. We are trying to go and learn that skill set. So going and handing that stuff to us is a huge obstacle. It's like because the terms are different. We are into different technologies now. The language we speak might be different. So things like that. But learning that whole skill set from people who are experienced to all the newcomers is a big gap. And I think Canada is trying to recognize that. And like I said about the stats, they're trying to bring people together so that we can have more people. I would say like if things persists as per the stat, it's like there might be around like 10,000 nationwide shortage in 5-6 years. So it's a good time to go into skill trades.
I totally agree. It is a great time. And from some of the research that I've seen over the next 10 years, there is going to be a significant amount of retirees. So if anybody out there is looking for a career, I mean, these two right here are individuals who are not only doing it, but there's opportunities for you as well. And I think that's a really important piece that we need to look at. But with that being said, you know, I want to jump a little bit I want to go to our audience. I'm not seeing too many questions, but audience, if you want to jump in, ask some questions. It's here. Our panelists are here to answer. This is directly straight from them. So yeah, throw some questions into the chat and we can jump to it. So let's just wait a couple seconds and maybe we'll get some more questions into the chat. Oh, turns out there are some questions in the chat. I didn't see them initially. But Taylor, if you can see that chat, do you want to just jump in and start us off with one of those questions?
Sure, just give me a second here.
Yeah, if you don't mind, or Lavanya.
Yeah, I can take some. I can see the last one which is coming one. I think I can answer that one. Is it hard to get into the field of women of color? That's one of the question. I can see that. So the answer is to be true. Yes, it is different. Like I said, like it's a men-dominated industry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good to go.
Yeah, thank you. So it's a men-dominated industry, and yes, there would be issues on it. But if things are changing, it's like there's lots of people who are supporting diversity at this piece, and it's more of showing interest and showing your passion towards the industry to come. And it doesn't really get more worth saying that it's a woman of color or not, because it's all how you have and what are the skill sets you have in place with you. So I think that would really help you out. Hope I answered the question.
No, that's fair. Do you find, and this is a bit of a two-parter, do you find you have individuals to speak to people you can lean on? You did mention mentorship, but like when you're on the job, do you feel, is it a lonely place, or do you feel like you fit in?
It's a great, I'm very, very fortunate to be part of a great organization throughout my career. I have lots of people to whom I can talk on. It's like, for example, I started like 15 years back. Getting a PPE for women was really tough. It's like to get into perfect clothing was really tough. But now we have varieties of stuff. We can get into different shapes and different sizes and things which you can fit here. So things are changing, things are progressing in a positive way. And there's lots of supporters across the organization, across different organizations who supports me. Great mentors. My parents are with me all the time when I'm trying to get it. My family, my husband, my kids see that. So it's a evolving industry, and I'm sure we'll be there.
That's awesome. If you don't mind, my chat, I'm having a bit of issues, but I would love Taylor, for you to just choose one of those questions, and then if you could answer that, and I'll come back and forth, and we'll have a bit of a discussion on it.
Yeah, no problem, Sam. So I see one question here. It's how old were each of you when you realized what industry you wanted to be a part of? And I say I was probably about 17, 18 when I finally realized that I wanted to work in the trades and go to college for electrical engineering technology. Honestly, when I was probably 13 or 14, I think I wanted to be a teacher. But then throughout high school, like I said, I love math, I love science, and that led me to where I'm at right now. So I definitely was unsure at 13, 14, probably your age, whoever's watching. and yeah, I didn't realize until probably late high school. So you definitely have time to figure it out. And I know there's always this stigmatism of, I felt it too, that you have to go to university if you want to make it somewhere. But that's, you can go to university and definitely make it somewhere, but I went to college and here I am. I did just fine. So I know there's that stigmatism out there that university is like the be all end all, but college, it can take you great places too. So don't be afraid.
I love that answer because, again, I mentioned earlier that I'm doing research within this field. I have a bit of a connection. My dad is a journeyman auto mechanic. I can change a tire. I feel like I get something for that one. But when I think of individuals sometimes who look at the trades and they think it's a one-stop shop, I say take that mindset back a little bit. When you're in the skilled trades, a lot of these occupations, whether they're red seal or not, these are things that you can use throughout your whole life. You can go get your certification. Yeah, you can be on the job. You can also get your certification, still go to university, or you can get your certification, completely do something completely different. But you just have these hands-on skills, and within the trades, these are things that nobody can take from you. A good example is if you're a carpenter. I mean, you learn this skill, you can start your own business as an entrepreneur, and then you can go out and build, maybe you needed a deck during the pandemic, and instead of hiring somebody, now you have those skills. So I think the people on the line, I want you to really hammer that home. these are more than just careers, but this is a lifestyle. But yeah, let me keep things rolling. I finally have some access to these questions. So let's move from here. I have a question here from Megan Tran, and she says, what course did you find that was really useful for the career that is yours now, and what made you choose that course? So I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense to you guys? Might have to rejig that question. So what course that you found, what was a very useful course that you found in your career, and what made you choose that course? Maybe we'll start with Taylor again. I know you said when you were 17 or 18, that's kind of when you decided. Do you want to speak more, a little bit more on that?
Yeah, like I said, I was always good at math. It was just, wasn't my favorite, but I was good at it. And in high school, I took just basic high school math, and then I also took calculus, which was extremely tough, but I made it through. But that led me into, that was a university course I took in high school. And it actually really benefited me because in college, I also ran into calculus, and it was everything I'd already done in high school. But that was a good one that definitely prepped me for college. Yeah.
I like that. So everybody watching, calculus.
Don't be afraid of it.
Don't be afraid of it. Take on any challenge. Same question, Lavanya.
Yeah, I would say I was more into electrical side of things, and maybe that's one of the reasons I'm working with a bigger team on electrical things. I think that really drives me there. It's like I used to sit with screwdrivers and circuits all the time, seeing what it is all about. How can I burn a boat? So that's pretty much what I was looking on that time. But really got me into what I wanted to. Looks like that was my passion before, so now I'm here.
I like that. Okay, let's jump to a couple other questions we have here. I have Ella, and she asks, what is the most rewarding part of being in the trades? I'll jump back to you, Taylor.
Yeah, so my job specifically, what we do is when your power goes out, it comes to us. All the alarms that your power is out comes to us. And we work with the field crews to get your power back on. So we're behind the scenes working with the guys you see out on the trucks, on the poles and everything to get your power back on. So after it's all said and done, the most rewarding part is getting the power back on, hearing that everybody's happy and that we've done our job right. So that's honestly, working to get the power back on is tough sometimes, but it's definitely rewarding in the end when we get happy customers. So I'd say that's the most rewarding part of my job.
That's a great answer. I might be a little corny for this analogy, but I picture like Thanos. You have the power when when the power goes out, it's Toronto Hydro if you're in that region. So anyway, thank you, and I like that. Same question to you, Lavanya.
Oh, that's a great question. I would say the same way Taylor was mentioning, it's more on the gas perspective, making the heat going on. It's like I mentioned, as soon as I see snow, I'm like, oh, is everything running? Is everything getting into the right pressure? And is there anything that we have to do? And having the feel through, it's to me that every day if I go to work, something which keeps me running is seeing my team working with full passion, and also making sure I'm also learning with them. It's every day is a learning for me. Every day I learn something new in my careers. I think that is self-driver, and that keeps me motivated all the time.
I like that because sometimes people will go to the same job doing the same thing, and it may not be as exciting. So to hear that, and especially within a skilled trade career, knowing that, okay, yeah, there are some challenges, but at the same time, you have opportunities to learn new things. I think that in its own is so key and sometimes is overlooked. So no, I want to say thank you both for answering those questions. I'm sure a lot of the youth on the line are taken aback. But yeah, that actually wraps up our time today. But I want to just say a big thank you for joining us. Thank you to our panelists, Taylor, Lavanya. This has been absolutely amazing. And a big thanks, of course, to all the students participating. There are so many questions here. I didn't get to all of them, but thank you for asking these questions. Diversity truly drives innovation, and it's clear, like our theme, that you belong here. But yeah, we hope today has inspired you to not only explore careers in the skilled trades, but take on your future. You know, the recording of this session will be available today on the Learning Partnerships YouTube page. So make sure you check that out. You know, I will be watching this again, so I'm hoping you will too. And you'll receive a recording, like I said, and also a survey link via email tomorrow. These surveys are so incredibly important. We want to know how you've enjoyed this event. And of course, I can't leave this part out. It's a bit of an incentive. You have a chance of winning one of seven, not seven, but one of seven $100 gift cards. So make sure you fill out that survey. It'll be worth it, I promise. But I want to say again, Taylor, Lavanya, thank you for joining us. And I hope everybody out there has an amazing Take Our Kids to Work day. Thank you. I am Sam Effa, and we are now out.